Hey, long time no see. You're back, finally, with some freaking good TCM news for once. And let me just say, it's quite the relief to be putting out this video rather than the one I initially had planned to upload tonight, and that was a full quote-unquote rant video that I had recorded, and I was prepared to upload it tonight, but alas, this morning the sun rose, and Gun must have heard my thoughts and my internal sadness, and they said, you know what, let's get something out there for the people, let's lift everyone's spirits, and they dropped the heck of a bomb of some good long patch notes. And you know, I think there's a lot of good things in here, and I think there's a lot to be happy about. A couple things which are a bummer, but we'll go over them. I don't want to do the whole patch notes super in depth. I just want to talk about a couple things, kind of share my thoughts on it. You know, I've seen a couple of people saying, oh, these patch notes are nothing burger. I really don't get that. I do think there's a lot here. You can tell that, you know, if they're going to push back an entire patch a whole month, they knew they had to deliver on when that patch initially came out. You know, we saw the Muerto times that were a little short for the February update, and I think a little people were like, it's a little sketchy, and then alas, obviously it got delayed, and here we are. We got some dang good patch notes, and hopefully, you know, they all come to the game working as intended. Let's cross our fingers for that. But you know, without further ado, let's get into some of the big stuff here. First off, you know, we're getting the Sunday best pack for family, which is fantastic, probably the best pack that I've seen in a long time coming to the game, as well as the denim pack for victims, which all look pretty dang good too. And we're also getting the Sunny outfit pack 3, which personally is like meh to me, but it's pretty good. I enjoy the colors that they added. It's kind of fun. It reminds me a little bit of his summer pack, and personally I like Sunny's denim skin. I think of the victims he has the best, so I'll probably be rocking that anyway, but it's good for those Sunny players out there. I will say Cook's freaking Sunday best pack is probably the best in there. There's a lot of really good ones. They're all great, but I just love Cook's. It seems like he's got a lot going on, a lot of fun details, so I'm excited for these to come to the game, just to, you know, have some new family content for once, which is good. And you know, we get some good stuff for the victims too. As far as the actual patch notes, we got a couple really big things here, and I'm going to start. I don't know why they didn't put this one first, because they should have. The biggest thing that's coming to the game, hopefully on Thursday, is they have finally fixed the Xbox crashes. Let's hope and pray our Xbox brethren can join us in TCM without crashing all the time. I will say, I feel like I've seen Xbox players crash less and less over probably the last 2 weeks, and I personally do have a friend who plays on Series S who, for about the last 2 weeks, really, he has played every single day and has not crashed once. So I think they actually have been doing some stuff on the back end, whether it's been a shadow patch or a hotfix or something. They've definitely been tweaking things, and I think that's good. I think it is promising, so hopefully that continues to improve. The other big thing, which I don't think anyone really expected, but I'll take it, they're giving a buff to Bones, and while most people probably expected this to be in the form of a shorter fuse time for the bombs, instead they have chose to increase the blast damage radius, and I'm honestly okay with this. I think the bombs are useful for, you know, destroying crawl spaces, destroying some other things, and I think this will kind of give you more chance to trigger the bomb and then catch that victim when they're trying to get away from it. So, you know, at the end of the day, obviously this will probably increase more damages to you as Bones, as well as your teammates on the family side. But again, I think Bones is just a goofy guy. I think he's a lot of fun. The bombs provide so much chaos. You know, anytime you or a family member get blown up, it's always like, oh damn, that was so frustrating. But at the same time, you know, it's just goofy. So Bones is a fun guy. So I think honestly, I'm fine with this change, and it's buff. So Bones needed it. I'll take it gladly. They also are adjusting the prioritization for interactions to give you a better chance to hit those traversal gaps rather than grabbing the health pot or whatever that's right next to it. So I think that's a good change for victim players. I think we've all died probably once or twice or more to situations that have arose because of that. They also are fixing the black bars on the Execution Pack 4. That's a W. I'm sure there are a couple people out there who like the black bars for cinematic purposes. Personally, I wasn't a fan, and I think it's good they chose to finally get rid of that. So hopefully, you know, I think we've seen this before. Hopefully it actually happens this time. They also were fixing Bone spawns on Slaughterhouse. This guy was goofy where, you know, literally just today I spawned in the basement in the place of Leatherface, and the Leatherface was upstairs where Bones was supposed to spawn. So while that is fun, it is obviously not great. So I think this was a good fix. Hopefully, you know, they get that going, and that was for all the Slaughterhouse variants. A couple other big things for Wyatt. Wyatt's getting a slight nerf. They fixed a bug where if you used his throwing knife at the same time Hands was ripsawing, it was causing some issues. So it looks like they patched that, which is good. And they also are making it so his knives now don't bypass Hands electric traps. So for example, if you have a Hands electric trap on the generator, you now have to throw 2 knives to disable it, 1 at the trap and 1 at the gen, which I think is a good change. It should have been like that from the get-go. I'm sure they understood that as well. Just it was a bug that is getting fixed now, so that's good. I think you know, Wyatt is certainly very strong, so a little nerf to him is very welcome. Now, an unfortunate thing for family members, they are changing it so now that family players cannot bypass animations for setting traps, closing doors, and locking doors. I guess we'll see exactly what all this entails when the game comes, or when the patch comes to the game on Thursday. I know there's obviously the big one is probably with Hitch and how you can kind of shorten his trap setting time by like a half second or whatever. It's not going to affect that too much, but I know this was kind of a nice thing for, you know, if you had the skill to do some of these things, it was a nice little thing, and it's kind of a bummer that they're taking that away. But, you know, at the end of the day, if there's an unintended mechanic that players can use, well, the developers can eventually choose to fix that mechanic that was not intended. So that's just how it is. It'll just be one thing we get used to. I know Leatherface has a couple as well. We'll see what all kind of gets roped into this, but kind of a big change there, unfortunately, for some family players. They also, another good change for family, however, is they are fixing the bug where you can get stuck in the valve exit. I have had this happen many times, definitely as Hitch before, so that's a good bug. I will be happy to get away and not have to wait for who knows how long just standing in the valve exit. They also are greatly bringing some joy to Hands players' lives and fixing his barge, where you would essentially get soft locked if you didn't double tap the barge button. It was really, really annoying. I forget exactly when this bug came to the game. It might have been in the December update. I don't remember for sure, but really annoying. So I'm happy they're finally fixing that. Hands barge will be back to its great glory that it once had. Another big one, and I'll read this one just because it's kind of specific. Team has fixed the issue that caused Leatherface's overhead slam attack to not register if a victim was traversing crawl spaces, stabbing Grandpa, or interacting with the valve. This is huge. I know I've certainly encountered this many times as Leatherface, where you get that chainsaw slam and it just doesn't do anything, slides off the victim, and you don't really know why. You're just like, okay, well, that's weird. This should fix that. I know there's probably going to be some victim players who are crying because, like, you know, Leatherface is strong and overpowered, yada yada yada, but no, this is a good change, so thank you for that. I'll take it. Looks like they tossed in a couple perk fixes, nothing too crazy. Slippery got I believe fixed, and what was the other one? Fishhooks was the other big one. So a couple other perks in there, but nothing major, but just a couple things. Here's another one which I thought was fun that I definitely reported some time ago, where if you had won a grapple with a family member as a victim and then you interacted with something, whether it was a toolbox, lockpicking, doing the fuse box, or turning off the battery or something, whatever, you could lose the UI, and it was really, really weird when that happened, and I definitely died once because of it, and I reported it to Gun. So I don't know if it was my ticket that eventually got this fixed, but I'm happy it did nonetheless, because I know exactly what that one was referring to. Another big one that was in the game was victims being permanently highlighted. Thank you for finally fixing this. I'm sure victim players will be very happy, because that was kind of easy mode for family. And, you know, I think there was a bug for family getting highlighted too for odd amounts of time, but it definitely happened more so to victims. So it's good that that is being fixed. They also are fixing player XP on Graveyard. So when you leave the basement, it's going to get that little ping that says, you know, you escaped, here's some XP, whatever. I don't know if they're going to change the names of like the areas of the Graveyard map. Personally, I would like them to, just because, you know, it's nice to have those descriptions for relaying information of where you're at, and, you know, when you're talking to your teammates, rather than it just kind of being generic Graveyard grounds or whatever it says. So we'll see if that changed, but nonetheless, I think it's good that they are actually giving us that XP ping, even though many 99 players don't need it, but hey, we'll take it. Also fixed a lot of some gap spots as Hitchhiker for, looks like, gas station and Nancy's house, some ladder stuck spots. I definitely had a handful of those on gas station and slaughterhouse and stuff, so some good collision things there, as well as some other collision issues. I know on the Stormy slaughterhouse map there was no collision for one of the downed trees, which was kind of a goofy thing to do, just to like sit in there, but nonetheless they have fixed that, which is good. And then it looks like they did a bunch of rush week changes, so some fixes and tweaks there, which is good, you know, for the people that like rush week. But yeah, we're not going to touch on that. And those are the big things in my opinion. I think there's a lot of good stuff here. I really am pleased with this, I guess the vastness of this update and how much there really is to it. I was a little worried we were going to have nothing, but I think most of the community was, so it's nice to see Gun really does still show they care and are putting in the effort despite the delay. We're getting the content we were deserved, and that's big too. Hopefully this all sets up, sets us up good to get more content in the future. So that's all I have really for now. But yeah, if you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing. We're on our way to 500 subs, which is pretty dang cool. And yeah, let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Are you excited about this update? You think it's crap? I'm sure we're gonna have a couple people that say, you know, it's about time we get some good news for once. And a couple of people I'm sure will be salty, and there's probably gonna be a couple people that say game's dead, who cares? But nope, game is alive. We're doing all right. It's hanging in there. And yeah, you know, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.